We appreciate you being with us this morning, the Broncos safety. Roger Goodell said we got it wrong in response to that player's video, and we support players' rights to protest. Adrian Peterson has already said he will take a knee this year, and he expects many other players to do so during the national anthem. So there's a couple of questions I have for you on that front. Number one, do you expect yourself and many other players in the NFL to take a knee during the national anthem? And then the second question, I guess, is what should be done with the policy regarding the national anthem, because it seems very ambiguous at this point.
Yeah, I think, I think it's so sad that when we come to the question of protesting and taking a knee, and I don't want to have this long-winded response, but this is one of the things that I've had conversations with my family, my close friends, so many people in my life that didn't understand what taking a knee, what the thought process was, why. And it's crazy because anyone that, like I said, wants to look into it and not just look at it from their point of view, Cap approached Nate Boyer and asked him, what he could do differently, because obviously he knew that he was offending people, and that wasn't, the point that he was trying to get across. And, Nate Boyer said, hey, man, I talked to a couple of my, my servicemen, my brothers, and, we thought it'd be kind of like equal ground if you took a knee, because we do that out of respect to our fallen soldiers, right? And then that's where, the key word in that was respect.
Right.
And that's where Cap was like, all right, I'm not going to sit on the bench. What his protest started. And then he took a knee out of respect for our military men, for our soldiers that are obviously serving and allowing us to be able to be a part of this country and to do the things that we want to do. And so, anyone that looks at that story, which Nate Boyer has, it's all on YouTube. Nate Boyer's went on multiple ESPN platforms.
Yeah, we had him on last week. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's crazy because you have him on there and you hear what he's saying and you understand hey, it's not about, our military and things in that nature. And to push that even further, we saw a lot of guys speak out at it when Drew Brees came out and said what he said. Sure. Yes. I'm sure a lot of people's, relatives and family members have served this country and died protecting this country. And we should be honoring them for that. But, for a lot of African-American brothers and sisters in this country, their families did the same thing and returned to the States, still being mistreated, still having to deal with oppression, still having to do with racial inequalities. And so, that flag doesn't mean the same thing for everyone, where white people may look at it and say, hey, this is about, this flag means everything to me. It's given me so much. There are a lot of black people that look at that flag, and while they're thankful there's progress being made, it's still a reality of, like I said, the systemic racism and, the oppression in America. And that is what, the police brutality and the inequality, those are the things that, Cap was taking a knee for. So many other players were taking a knee for. So, yeah, I'm hoping that, a lot of the guys around the league understand the platform that Cap has put out there, and that as a collective brotherhood in the NFL, we come together and we figure out, what powerful, statement and change we want to make.
So with that going forward, I guess one more thing, I know we're up against it, but I do want to ask you this question because it's being talked about a lot, Justin Simmons. What would it mean to you if a team did sign Colin Kaepernick now?
Yeah, I think it would be huge. And everyone has their opinions on, on Cap and what they believe, if he was good enough or this, that, and the other. And obviously my opinion was, I think he was definitely good enough to be on a roster, these past couple of years. I'm not going to sit here and name, other quarterbacks around the league that I thought he was better than, but, there's definitely, I don't understand why, he hasn't been signed. He could easily have even been a backup. And honestly, the reason behind it, and I don't like thinking like this, but I can't think of any other way. the NFL, ownership is 30. I believe, I saw it the other day. I think it's 30 white men, and then I think it's 2 that kind of break the mold, right? And it's like I said, I hope that's not the intentions, because I really like to see the good in people. But then again, you look at the things that are going around in our world, and it's just, it's really disheartening. And so I believe that he was, more than good enough to be on an NFL roster. And I think the fact that, he took a knee and he was standing for what was right, and he was just doing, a peaceful protest. I think those are the reasons why he wasn't on an NFL roster. So having him signed back, I think, like I said, that, in my opinion, is taking an action and a step in the right direction, showing you support, freedom of speech from your players, and ultimately, proving what Goodell and the NFL put out on their social media platform, and saying, like, we were wrong and we stand with our players.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.